So, welcome to my review of Animal Man and Swamp Thing. They kind of cross over this month, so I thought I'd do this review together because they're basically part 1 and 2 of the same story. So we start off with Animal Man, issue 17. As you can see there on the cover, it is Rot World Finale part 1. Animal Man and his army, Swamp Thing and his army, they've sort of gathered at Anton Arcane's castle, and they're going to try and take him out, but they're both approaching from different sides. So they're fighting their way through, and you've got these big battles going on with all of these rotlings and reanimated dead of Anton Arcane as they take on the forces of Animal Man and Swamp Thing. Then, you know, so most of the issue is kind of the battlefield and what's going on and what horrors they're facing, not just like on the opposite end, but as people are getting killed off. Eventually Animal Man and Swamp Thing come together, and now's going to be the time they've been waiting for. Now's the time they're going to take out Anton Arcane, and then at the end of the issue we sort of get to find out the fate of poor Abigail and Maxine, and that's our big cliffhanger at the end when we see their ultimate fate. I really enjoyed this issue. You've got two artists on it, Steve Pugh and Timothy Green II, and one does the Swamp Thing bits and one does the Animal Man bits, which I liked. But also I felt that both artists complemented each other. The change in style wasn't too big that you felt jarred, but that they really do well in conveying the horror of what they're facing of the battlefield. And not just like the horror of the monsters, but the horror of war, you know, the horrible things that happen when you're on the battlefield, you know. I really liked that, and it really added to the book, and made me sort of really tense reading it as you're reading through this war and what's going on. And I felt the art really added a lot to this story. The story itself as well was really good. We get to the conclusion. There's some really cool things that happen on the battlefield as people sort of get extra powers or things. Events that take place. I just really liked. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil it too much. I just want to give you sort of like the outline of the story so that you can still read it and enjoy it. But the end I really I liked in this, the horror of learning what's happened to the two people they've gone all this way to save. So yeah, I really enjoyed Animal Man issue 17, and I give it 5 stars. So the story continues in Swamp Thing this month. As you can see there, you've got Rot World Finale Part 2. In this issue they're sort of dealing with the fate of Maxine and Abigail, and so they've got a plan. They know how to defeat Anton, but can they execute it, or would this have knocked them out of the game? And that's sort of what the whole issue is, as they're trying to get back to getting this plan into action and getting their heads back in the game. And then at the end there's a bit of a, while it finishes off this part of the story, it isn't completely finished yet, as you'll see when you read it. It's a bit, you can, and I always knew there was going to be some kind of timey-wimey sort of stuff going on, but this issue sort of really shows you how they're going to do that whole thing. My only complaint with this one is the art. I'll show you the art first from Animal Man. I don't think I showed you any art from this. I liked the art. I thought the art really complemented the horrors of what we were seeing. So yeah, I really liked the art in that book. I think it really complemented it. The problem with this book is, and I don't blame the artist, I blame whoever hired the artist, because he does not complement the writing at all. His style is too cartoony. It reminds me a lot of Mike Aldred, and I think on the right book, I'd love to see this artist again. I liked his art. It just didn't work for me on this kind of book. It made it all too cartoony, you know. So like you're trying to get tension in there and horror, but because it looks cartoony, you just don't buy it for a minute. You know, and while there are great pages like that, does look good. I just didn't think the art sat with the story, and I think the art for this one really hurt the story. So for Swamp Thing issue 17, I give it 4 stars.